A flat roof is never truly flat, as you do require water to drain. To create a flat roof in Envisioneer, you will need to create a low slope roof using surfaces or multiple surfaces sloping to an area where water can be drained. You can also add walls to create a parapet for your roof design. First, let's take the walls from our ground floor and copy them up to our second floor. Simply select one of the walls on your design, right-click, and select All Similar. Right-click again and select the Duplicate to Locations option. Here we're going to select the second floor and we're going to say OK. We're now going to switch to our second floor location, as this is where we want to add in our sloped roof. So in our building locations drop down, we're going to select that and we're going to select second floor. We're now on the second floor and we can see the new walls that we've created. We're going to select one of those walls and then we're going to right click and we're going to choose Select All Similar. We're going to adjust these walls so that they are at the correct height and are using the correct materials. So we're going to right click and we're going to go into the properties of the wall. Under the properties of the wall, we're going to change the top edge to be a 3-foot wall. We're also going to go in and we're going to select underneath the component layout, we're going to press the select button. In here, we're going to adjust the interior side of this wall to be an exterior veneer. Since this is going to be a parapet wall, the veneer will be on both sides. So on the interior finish, we're going to select that option. We're then going to use the Browse button, and we're going to use the exact same material that is on the exterior side. So we're going to use the cement board siding veneer underneath the exterior finish folder. So we're going to select the cement board siding, and we're going to say OK. We're also going to include the exact same 7/16 OSB sheathing on the interior layer portion. So we're going to select interior layer, we're going to select Add, and then underneath the exterior layer, we're going to select the 7/16 OSB sheathing, and we're going to say OK. We've now created a wall that has the same material on both sides. We're going to say OK. Now we're going to go to the Trim tab. We're going to go to the Trim tab and we're going to remove all of the trim because we don't want trim on this wall. So we're going to select each option and we're going to simply select Remove to get rid of all of the trim. Once the trim has been removed, we can say OK, and that will adjust our walls for us. So now that the roof area has been defined, we need to determine how we want the roof to slope. Do we want to slope the roof to the middle of the roof area, or do we want the roof to slope to the edges of the walls of our parapet? Or maybe you just want one slope to one edge of the parapet. However you decide, the next steps will be the same for you. The one thing that matters is where you start your roof surface, as this determines your lowest point. In this example, we are going to slope our roof to a central part in the middle of the roof. This means everything will slope up from the center. Let's add some construction lines so that we can outline exactly where we want the roof surfaces to be placed. You can type L on your keyboard, or underneath Tools, Layout, you can select the Line option. I'm going to start in the middle of my top wall, and I'm going to move my mouse down, and I'm going to place that first line in. I'm going to repeat that step, and I'm going to add in a second line that's going to run horizontally across the screen. And then I'm going to right click and select Finish. Now that I have the lines added in, I'm now going to offset them to create the distance that I want for this particular center part of my roof. So I'm going to select my first line. I'm going to right click, select Offset, and I'm going to use the 1 foot dimension, and I'm going to say OK. And then I'm just going to add in these offsets for each. And then we're going to select this line and we're going to offset it to the left, and then we're going to offset this one again to the right. So we've now just created a 2x2 square in the middle of our design. Now we can insert our sloped roof surface from these edges by going to Insert, Surfaces, Surfaces, or by going under the Building tab by simply selecting the Surfaces button. In the catalog on the right hand side, I'm going to use the built up roof surface, and then I'm going to define my first 2 points. The first 2 points again will always represent the lowest point of our roof, So we're going to select these 2 points first. Now I want to go up to this corner here, but since I have ortho turned on, it will not allow me. So I'm going to press F8 on my keyboard to disable ortho. I'm going to snap to the first corner, and then I'm going to snap to the second corner, and I'm going to right click and select finish. Now that I've selected finish, it's going to bring up the define surface dialog. And in this dialog, we need to define our slope while keeping the lowest point of the roof at 0. We will make our slope a 112 slope. Once I do that, I'm going to see that the upper point is now set to be 8 3/8 of an inch. I'm going to select that. I'm going to press Ctrl C on my keyboard to copy that value out because I will need that height later. I'm then going to say OK. And I can now see my first surface has been added in. Now I'm going to use this surface also on the opposite side. So I'm going to select it, right click, and I'm going to select mirror. I'm going to use the center line, and then I'm just going to snap it to the end of the line, which will create an exact copy on the opposite side of the roof. And I'm going to select no to deleting the original out. I don't need to recreate the surface here. I can actually just use the same surface, but I'm going to duplicate it off to the side. Once it's duplicated, I'm now just going to rotate it, and I'm going to make sure that I have ortho turned back on so that when I rotate it, it's going to stay true in the 90-degree increments. Now that it's duplicated and rotated, I'm going to move it back into place. And then I'm going to move it up so that it snaps to the edge of the line. I'm now going to use the stretch commands to stretch the roof out so that it matches up with the edges of the design that we're working with. I'm also going to adjust the arrow. This arrow determines the actual height of my surface, so I want to make sure it's going right to the edge of the surface itself, and that will snap it right to the edge of that surface there. With this surface still selected, I'm going to right click and I'm going to go into the define surface option. So we've added this surface in, but we have edited exactly where the edge of that surface is going to sit. By doing that, we've elongated the actual length of our surface, so we've actually adjusted the upper point. So we want this upper point to be the same as the other two surfaces. So we're going to adjust the slope to match that. So all I have to do here is in the upper point, I'm just going to Control V to paste in that 8 3/8 of an inch option. And then I'm going to click in the slope value, and it's going to update for me automatically. I'm then going to say OK, and that new surface has now been added in. Again, this surface is going to be the exact same as the one below, so I'm going to select it, mirror around the middle, and again I'm going to say no to deleting that surface out. Now we've added in all of our sloped surfaces. Now we just need to add in our flat surface of where our drain is going to be. So once again, I'm going to use my built-up roof surface, and I'm just going to snap to the 4 corners that make up that area, right-click, and select Finish. This one is going to be a true flat area, so I'm just going to say OK, and that will add in our final surface. We're going to zoom out and we're going to go into a 3D view, and we will now be able to see how our roof surface is taking shape by adding in all of our different slopes. We hope this tooltip helps you moving forward. If you like what we're creating, press the like button and be sure to subscribe for future videos. If you have any comments, please let us know in the comments section below. Thank you.